open drug use crackdown.
We are not criminalizing addiction.
Why city police have begun taking a stronger approach, and why some outreach groups are taking issue. Also tonight.
It's human rights work. It's complicated. It's about actually how do we find our shared humanity in our through our storytelling.
How the Canadian Museum for Human Rights is responding to criticism leveled against its new Palestinian exhibit. Plus, Portage and Maine 1 year later after reopening to pedestrians. Did fears of increased collisions come to pass?
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Taylor Brock.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Hendricks. Taylor is away. After months of complaints from residents and businesses, the Winnipeg Police Service is cracking down on open drug use in our city. Wednesday, officers began fanning out over several spots known to be problematic and took action. Already, a number of people have been taken into custody and to hospital. As CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, police say they underestimated the true scope of the problem.
After ongoing complaints about open drug use on Winnipeg streets and sidewalks, police are cracking down.
In response to complaints that have been mounting from the community, I'll say it, for months and months now. It is not something our community should be expected to accept.
As of Wednesday this week, police started targeting problem areas, mostly in or near downtown. During the 10-day sweep, officers are confiscating drugs from people, making arrests and sending people to the hospital or directing them to services.
Illegal open drug use and trafficking will not be tolerated.
Mayor Scott Gillingham is backing this. He says they have a moral obligation to help those struggling with addiction while keeping the public safe.
People should not have to breathe in toxic drug smoke when they're waiting for a bus. Parents should not have to worry about needles in the park. Business owners should not have to deal with open drug use at their front doorstep.
After just 2 days, police say they've already dealt with 100 people openly using drugs. Of those, 25 were arrested, most for court breaches or outstanding warrants, and 3 were sent to the drug detention center.
In terms of data, I'll tell you, I think that I won't say grossly underestimated, but we underestimated the scope of this problem.
For many in Winnipeg, the crackdown is long overdue.
Right now, there was a guy standing here, just using drugs right now, and I'm like, why are people doing that?
Others aren't as comfortable with the plan.
I think just sweeping them away is probably not the answer.
A number of the city's outreach groups were caught off guard by this. They say workers have witnessed police detain people experiencing homelessness and taking away and destroying their harm reduction supplies.
This represents a criminalization of poverty and of homelessness, and that's deeply concerning to us.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Police say officers are not taking harm reduction items away. However, if a needle has drugs in it already, that will be confiscated. A plane has made an emergency landing on a Manitoba highway. Last night, just after 7 p.m., police were alerted to a small aircraft in distress. The single-engine plane was carrying 4 people and was attempting to land on the road. The plane had departed from the PAW and was en route to Brandon. The pilot made the landing on Highway 45 near Sandy Lake. Police say the plane came to a stop in a ditch on the north side of the road. One person was taken to hospital with minor injuries. RCMP have not yet said what caused the emergency. A controversial exhibit at the Canadian Museum for Human Rights is set to open to the public on Saturday. The exhibit is called Palestine Uprooted, Nakba Past and Present. The museum says it explores the human rights violations about Palestinians who continue to face displacement. But some critics, including a board member who resigned, say it is one-sided.
And we were asked, get out. Just one suitcase per family.
Nakba means catastrophe in Arabic. It's commonly used by Palestinians to describe the mass displacement during the 1948 Palestine War. The exhibit features video testimonials from Palestinian Canadians, along with art and photos. Several Jewish groups, including the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs, have raised concerns to the museum, saying the exhibit could fuel anti-Semitism, and they feel there was a lack of meaningful consultation with the Jewish community. One museum board trustee, Mark Berlin, resigned over the exhibit, accusing the museum of, quote, ideology instead of accurate history. However, the museum CEO says they met with Jewish groups several times.
One, I think people want to see this work as a binary of one side versus two sides, and it isn't. It's human rights work. It's complicated. It's about actually how do we find our shared humanity in our through our storytelling. One of the critiques, much of the critique has come from people certainly who haven't been to the museum, and in many cases, or all cases, people who haven't seen the exhibit. And so we're inviting people to see the exhibit so that hopefully that will reassure them.
The exhibit will be at the museum from Saturday until November 30th, 2028. The Palestinian community in Canada has been calling on the museum to present their stories since the museum opened back in 2014. Tomorrow marks 1 year since Portage and Maine officially reopened to pedestrian traffic. And despite concerns from some that the busy intersection would become a hazard for people walking and cyclists, that doesn't seem to have been the case. According to Manitoba Public Insurance, there haven't been any collisions involving cyclists or pedestrians at the iconic intersection since it reopened. In fact, there have been only one crash, each involving a pedestrian and a cyclist in the past 5 years. Those happened in 2024 and 2023, respectively. There have been, however, several dozen vehicle collisions, 96 so far this year and 152 in all of 2025. Time now for our first check on the weather, and it is 18 degrees, a little bit of cloud in the sky. The barometer is rising. Humidity is at 77%. Now, tonight there is a risk of thunderstorms overnight. Temperature 16 degrees, and your wake-up weather 19 degrees and mainly cloudy.
Much of what they talked about was really on the more severe side.
A spike in online violence, how much our kids are seeing, and which platforms had the most of it. Massage therapy has officially been designated as a regulated health profession here in Manitoba. The province made the declaration on June 16th. It also establishes the College of Massage Therapists of Manitoba for regulating the profession. The Massage Therapy Association of Manitoba praised the move in an online statement, calling it the realization of a goal that has been pursued for decades. The association says further details around registration requirements and timelines are expected in the coming months. As Canada edges towards legislation meant to protect youth online, a new survey suggests most teens in the country have encountered real violence or gore on the internet.
What we actually found was that 85% of young people had seen this content. And further, when we asked them about what types of content they were seeing within that category, much of what they talked about was really on the more severe side of what we expected to hear about.
Of the 1,007 youth that were surveyed, more than 7 in 10 had seen videos of physical fights. 65% had viewed police violence, and 52% had watched someone being injured or killed in war. 10% reported seeing child sexual abuse material, and 1/3 had viewed mass or school shooting videos. And the survey results show the vast majority of respondents saw the disturbing content unintentionally.
Only 7% of respondents said that they had sought out this content. So in most cases, they're seeing it because a stranger posted it or because the algorithm is showing it to them. So they're just scrolling through TikTok, scrolling through Instagram Reels, seeing, probably some funny videos, some interesting videos, and then all of a sudden there's a video of someone dying in a car accident.
The study's lead author says they forwarded the results to major tech companies and the Canadian government, along with a list of recommendations. Exposure to graphic material was most common on YouTube, followed closely by TikTok and then Instagram. The results come from an online survey by Leger. The online survey cannot be assigned a margin of error, however, because it was not a random sample of the population. A crash between a gravel truck and an ATV has left a 19-year-old dead in the RM of Brokenhead. Police say the collision took place when an ATV heading east on Road 71 North was hit by a gravel truck heading north on Provincial Road 302. The 19-year-old male driver of the ATV was pronounced dead at the scene. The 6-year-old Steinbeck man who was driving the truck was uninjured. Police are investigating the incident. Once considered a bargain, more and more Manitobans now view our housing prices as unreasonably high. New data from the Angus Reid Institute finds 7 in 10 Canadians say the price to buy a home in their neighborhood is high, a stark contrast to a decade ago. In Manitoba, 67% of respondents say prices are understandably or unreasonably high, a jump of 21% from 2016. Now, Winnipeg saw a 23% increase. Over the past decade, the average house price in Winnipeg grew by 57%, from $273,000 to $427,000. The online survey of 4,200 Canadians was conducted between June 4th and the 10th and has a margin of error plus or minus 2 percentage points 19 times out of 20. A Winnipeg Park has officially been renamed and revamped. The area formerly known as Odeon Park is now Kevin Walters Plaza. It combines the area adjacent to the Burton Cummings Theatre with the former park. Now, the plaza is named after Kevin Walters, who is a well-known champion of live music and entertainment in Winnipeg. He played a key role in bringing a number of festivals and award shows to the city, including the 2006 Grey Cup Festival, the Canadian Country Music Awards, and the Junos. And it's a fitting tribute, as it will serve as a public gathering space for future concerts and cultural events.
Kevin Walters Plaza is another piece of downtown's future. The space will welcome people before concerts, festivals, and events like the Burt Block Party. And it will help showcase everything that makes Winnipeg such a vibrant, creative city that Kevin helped to build.
The $1.25 million project also features a public art installation by artist Frederick Spence.
This is a cartoon world, and this place is crazy, but Popple River is very crazy, too.
The community may be fictional, but the sense of community is all too real. We take you behind the scenes of the Made in Manitoba Indigenous comedy series, Acting Good. And we'll have your complete Skywatch forecast when we return. Welcome back. Our first weather picture this evening is this truly stunning photo taken by Bird. Now, Bird says they took it in Brereton Lake at the family cottage around 11 last night, and the lake was like a mirror. Incredible picture. Thanks so much for sending it in. Our second picture this evening from Gail is also pretty amazing. It's a rainbow, which by itself isn't super unusual, but as you can see, the picture was taken from inside a plane as they were close to touchdown. Thanks so much for sending it in. You can send us your pictures to winnipegweather@ctv.ca. Well, this weekend, it won't be rainbows that a lot of communities are seeing. Instead, it will be rain, as there are some major systems building to the south of us that could be bringing a lot of rainfall. Now, as we go to the satellite map, I want you to take a look towards the bottom of the map. There is an upper trough of low pressure that is building over the western U.S. Now, it's going to be triggering a southwesterly flow of air up into Canada and, of course, into the prairies. Now, here in Winnipeg, on Saturday morning, well, we're going to be first seeing increasing cloudiness and then a 60% chance of showers late in the morning and in the early afternoon. But there could also also be some very substantial amounts of rain closer to the international border on Sunday evening, all the way through Sunday as well. You can see that storm activity in communities along the southern border. Now, it will be a completely different story up north. As you can see, it looks as if it should be relatively clear this weekend. On the other hand, we are going to be forced to deal with a very soggy weekend indeed. And in fact, it's going to be a rainy start to the work week as well, as that weather system continues to dominate the skies pretty much throughout southern Manitoba. All right, for now, let's take a look at the current temperatures across the province. A Made in Manitoba sitcom is wrapping up filming on its 5th season. Acting Good is inspired by its stars' real life growing up in Poplar River First Nation. And as CTV's Daniel Halmerson shows you, the larger-than-life comedy is showing no signs of slowing down.
The fictional fly-in reserve of Grouse Lake isn't that different from Paul Ryblowskis' home community of Poplar River First Nation in northern Manitoba. But the comedian-turned-actor says Grouse Lake is a little bit more fun.
This is a cartoon world, and this place is crazy. But Poplar River is very crazy, too, in the best way possible. Everything that's sort of the human aspect and real of the show comes from Poplar River, and it comes from real people.
And those people and their stories come to life on his CTV Comedy Channel series, Acting Good.
About a guy who goes home with his tail between his legs and he's just always trying to win over his family, but keeps making a mistake because he's a man-child.
The show is wrapping up filming on its 5th season, and executive producer Phyllis Lang says it's carved out its own identity in the sitcom world.
We have the ability to have Indigenous storytelling that is comedy. That's pretty unique.
And Ryblowskis says season 5 continues to shed light on life in remote communities and make light of it, too.
90% of the stories that come out of the North is negative. It's like, oh, man, you know, it's forest fires and it's just crime. I hope that people watch the show and they sort of can change their minds of how they feel about sort of how the res is portrayed. Because I tell everybody the res is the most beautiful place in the world.
And the series is also breaking down barriers for Indigenous talent like actor Cheyenne Sapp, who plays Ryblowskis' on-again, off-again girlfriend Rose.
As a young Indigenous girl growing up on the res, I didn't see a whole lot of myself and people like me represented on screen. If I can be that person for, you know, who I was when I was small, then that's a great big deal.
The first 4 seasons of Acting Good are streaming on Crave, and season 5 will premiere on CTV Comedy Channel at a later date.
I think this is by far our craziest, funniest season, and I can't wait for people to tune in.
Daniel Halmerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
From that point on, the algorithm earns on your behalf.
AI employed to help scammers, how the technology is fooling people and helping drain bank accounts. One of the top scams circulating in Canada involves criminals making deepfake videos that appear to be investment endorsements by celebrities and politicians. The fraud involves scammers asking for small amounts of money up front with the goal to eventually take everything you have. CTV's Pat Foran has the story.
It's so frustrating, so devastating.
86-year-old Judy Skeen of Sault Ste. Marie says last summer she was online when she noticed an interesting investment opportunity.
From that point on, the algorithm earns on your behalf.
I saw an ad on Facebook of Mark Carney telling me that if I invested $350 Canadian. It would be backed by the Bank of Canada.
Skeen made the initial investment and the next day got a call from someone claiming it had already tripled in value. Over the next few months, she invested everything she had, even taking out a mortgage on her condo.
So I agreed then to put a mortgage of almost $300,000 on my condominium.
She believed her investments had almost doubled, but in reality, she had been scammed out of $900,000.
All my money was gone.
Her condo fees were bouncing, her insurance on her car and her condo was bouncing.
Friends like Pat Probert stepped in to help when Skeen said she was so distraught she felt like taking her life. He's also been trying to warn others about investment fraud.
If you know a senior that's alone, reach out to them. Make sure that somebody is on a bank account as an emergency contact.
You may see images or videos like these pop up on social media. Criminals want to make it look like Prime Minister Mark Carney wants you to invest in cryptocurrencies, but it's an AI-generated scam.
Because these scams are on every different type of platform.
An AI expert says companies that allow the posting of scam videos should be held accountable.
Let's remember, they're making money off of these scams. These ads are running on social media platforms. This is a revenue stream for these apps.
Skeen says clicking on that one ad changed her life forever.
Just be alert and be careful what you see on Facebook.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
The Catapult was a devastating weapon of war when it was invented. Attackers could hurl heavy rocks at their enemies. Today, well, they're a little outdated for warfare. But as CTV's Adam Sawatsky shows you, they're still being used.
Of all the things Jeremy Gervin had been asked to construct in his career, this was a first.
So they asked me to do a cheese curd flinging device.
Could he conceive of some sort of contraption, the local Francophone Association folks wondered, that could pitch fake cheese curds onto a pile of pretend poutine?
I thought this was pretty hilarious, as Canadian as can be.
It was the kind of question that could only be answered with "we," followed by Jeremy finding inspiration in the catapult invented by Leonardo da Vinci.
Because I'm a woodworker, I really came down to the Da Vinci design that uses 2 wooden springs.
Jeremy captured the whole process on camera, from crafting each component from scratch, assembling them all together, and then making countless refinements to make it propel properly.
The biggest challenge was to be able to have enough force without breaking itself.
The troubleshooting process demanded expertise in math, engineering, and physics before Jeremy considered the possibilities of yoga balls, bananas, and water balloons.
As a problem solver, it was those moments that were super interesting and exciting.
After more than 2 months, almost 400 hours, Jeremy finally debuted his device at the Francophone Festival, showcasing how high-density foam, carved to look like curds, could be catapulted about 30 meters into a poutine dish featuring chainsaw-carved faux fries.
Oh, yes! Glad I did it, and the result was fun.
And like the gravy on poutine, the joy these cheese chuckers expressed was the special sauce that made it all complete.
It was an honor to represent the national dish.
While his catapult is set to be sold as a fundraiser for the Francophone Society, and he suggests it could be repurposed as a mechanized mascot for a poutinerie, or come Halloween, a propeller of pumpkins, Jeremy hopes his contraption's true legacy is more constructive.
And I hope I can inspire people to be creative and pick up tools.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
It's your opportunity to host the world's largest picnic. The story behind this unusual building, now up for sale in Ohio, and how it could be yours. And we'll have your 7-day Skywatch forecast next.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
We're going to be having a lot of rain in our near future. The entire weekend will be rainy, and it looks like we're going to get some on Monday and possibly Tuesday as well. A picnic basket has gone up for sale in Ohio, and while that may not on its own sound very unusual, there is something about this one that sets it apart. See if you can spot it. Well, your eyes are not deceiving you. This 7-story building is recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest basket-shaped building. It was once the home of the Longaberger Basket Company, which eventually folded, and plans to turn it into a hotel were reportedly stymied by the pandemic. Now, the 180,000 square foot basket building can be yours for the low, low price of $8.5 million. And in case you were wondering, those handles up there even heat up to prevent ice buildup. And that is going to do it for us. For another look at tonight's stories, visit us online at ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great weekend.